Hello guys, welcome back to another adventure starting here on Our Eyes Your Eyes. I'm ready to watch episode 1 of Requiem of the Rose King or Baraou no Souretsu. But before starting this video, I just want to remind you to subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell, leave a like to support me and join me in this adventure. Okay, the only thing I know is that this story is something historical. I mean, we are talking about the War of the Roses, so I mean, it's something pretty tough. But let's see what's going to happen. Are you ready to join me with this? Check it out. The War of Roses. Yeah, Henry the Sixth. Yeah, I have a bad feeling. Okay, there are so many names, I have to remember all of them. Okay, Richard seems to be a pretty determined as a personality. I mean, he has. Uh, every time there's a legend, I mean, there's a concept of the forest. Yeah, but I like these dark tones. No, don't listen to them. These voices are trying to trick you, so don't pay attention on them. Oh. Oh. So this is a premonition. I mean, this is an anticipation of what's happening. But is this going to happen for real, or is just a way to trick him, his mind? Is she treating them in a different way? Okay, so he is the white rose. Okay. Let's see when he meets Richard. What's wrong? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but it's not like this, I guess. One thing is to say it, one thing is to confront the truth. I mean, one thing is to see everything from your eyes as as a direct experience. Oh, here we go again. Oh, this thing was something crazy. I think Richard in the future he's going to understand that all this was a mistake. I mean, I understand from his perspective of how he feels, but at the same time, we are talking about war, so. Oh, who's this? Oh! What the F? I mean, why Jeanne d'Arc now is. Oh. Yeah, maybe you are somebody special. Without maybe at this point. No. Here we go. The war starts once again. And all this just because of a kingdom, I mean, just because of a crown. Oh, come on, forget about the promise. We are in a hard situation. Oh, see? Pure desperation. Uh, Here we go again. Is this true or not? We still have to understand this, or is this just her perspective? I mean, what she sees, because she has a bad idea about him. Oh no, did he? I thought that he could see in his mind what was going to happen in the later. I mean, in the future, as a premonition. What is this? And why he's crying? Oh. This person is a little bit strange from his, I mean, from Richard's perspective. Oh no, you will discover it later that he's right. Maybe he's going to help Richard to see the world in a different way? I think so. Almost the same! And this can happen to Richard one day, maybe. I suggest you to stay next to him. No, don't listen to this stuff. Oh. 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 Yes, we have all the same destiny at the end of the day. I like these contrasts of colors. No, don't say like that. I think one day she will regret everything she said to you. Henry, okay. Yes, say yes. He can help you. He can be a difference for your life. Oh! This strange way in which they portrayed it, Jeanne d'Arc. I mean, but it was better to keep this friendship with Henry. No! No, he's going to help you, I'm pretty sure. Oh. Oh no, something has to happen now. Oh! Oh, this is never ending, see? What proof? Did he kill him? Or not? See? This is a proof of what? Of nothing. Oh, what about his father? Henry! Oh, oh, if you knew that Richard was meeting Harry that night. What? No, 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 Richard, no! Anneville. Hey, you can train together with her. With her. Let's be strange together. Yeah, but this doesn't mean that he has to be different in a wrong way. No, no, no. Try to destroy these voices. I mean, at that time, it was something to be proud of, eh? No, poor Harry! Ah, okay. Yeah. But he's so young. Oh, ho, ho. Okay, let me tell you that I really like this story. First of all, because we have this main character that is surrounded by lots of mystery around his birth, I mean, around his origins, about his identity, about many other stuff that, let me tell you, I think that if now it seems that Richard is something bad or something that people have to avoid, and people they have to go away from him and things like this, later I think that he will be the one who's going to change all this, because as I was telling you, in this story we are during the War of the Roses, and if you study the history a little bit, you know that that war was becoming endless because there was one side trying to defeat the other side, get the throne, etc., etc., etc. This thing was going on so many years. In this episode, we see these. We see how this crown, how this throne is passing from one side to the other one without an end. And this was pretty frustrating at that time. I really like this story also because, yes, they are taking inspiration, let's say, from Henry VI, this great masterpiece of William Shakespeare. And yeah, you know that I love literature, so this is my stuff. But yeah, I like Richard because, yeah, at the beginning we think that he is something bad because of what we hear, because of all the rumors that are created around him, because of how his mother is seeing him, because of these voices we hear in the forest, and so many other things like this that make you understand that maybe Richard is in the wrong position. He's the Akuma no Ko, that means the child of a demon, and all these things. And in fact, as I was telling you during the reaction, I really like this contrast of colors. I think that that makes you understand for real this difference, this black versus white, even if they are all from the York side. But you see this white that is shining brightly, and then you see Richard that is totally black. And I really like this. As much as when he's meeting Harry for the first time, you see light versus darkness. And yeah, these contrasts are really important because they let you understand even the feelings. I mean, colors are not just associated with the symbols, but also to feelings. And especially in this first episode, we understand how Richard is confused about himself, because on one side you feel that he is so sure about what he's doing and what he's thinking, but at the same time you see that he's so fragile because of everything that people told him so far. And this is creating in his mind the thought that he is wrong, that he was not worth living, and all this stuff. Also because of his mom. His mom saw him as a difference, and while all of the other characters are blonde hair and they have blue eyes, he is totally the opposite. He is black haired, he has black eyes. I mean, not every time. I mean, he has some different colors, as you could see at the end of the episode, but mainly he's representing darkness, and all the others seem to represent light, because the House of York has the white rose. But yeah, I like all these things as much as I like these dark atmosphere, this creepy atmosphere that is surrounded not just Richard, but even at the beginning when they were explaining what was happening. Yeah, I really like this setting that is making you understand what was going on at that time specifically. Richard, I think, is a complex character. We needed to get in touch with him more and more, and I think one day he will get rid of these voices in the forest. Yeah, as I was telling you, that too. The concept of the forest that can trick you, that can tempt you, that can let you think things that are not correct, that it can eat you somehow. Yeah, absolutely. I think that this vision of the forest that is always pushing Richard's mind so much by thinking these wrong things is creating this Richard's personality that is ambiguous, that he also doesn't know where he has to go, if he has to go on this direction or the other one, because while he was saving the Inoshishi, I mean, while he was saving that animal, he was pretty kind because he saved him, no matter his rudeness later, but his instinct was to save it. So that makes you understand that Richard is not this Akuma no Ko. It's just maybe a tag that his mother put on him because he was different, he was born in a different way, and his identity was ambiguous too. At that time it was something crazy, okay? If you didn't have a specific identity, and if you didn't have a resolution, or you didn't have skills enough to prove your father, your family, your descendants that you were good, that you were part of this family and you were proud of it, then you were treated as scam. This is why I really feel Richard's feelings, because he doesn't even know right now what path to choose. But definitely his meeting with Henry was something like an epiphany. I mean, something that you didn't even expect it to watch, because it was first of all surrounded by a great light, and second of all the things Henry was saying regarding the throne, that he prefers to get rid of it. I mean, he prefers to stay in touch with nature, the fact that he prefers to aim for something really simple, also because death is something that we all have in common. So no matter how much we are fighting one against the other one, the result is that at the end of our lives we have to die. And this is something you can't avoid. This is something you can't defeat. Death is something really sure for all of us. So I really liked when Henry got in touch with Richard and he was trying to explain his vision of things before being caught. At this point, I really hope that one day Richard and Henry can make peace after this long war, and they can find a way to connect these two houses, the houses of York and the house of Lancaster, because these relationship can really change things. Also because Henry didn't know anything about Richard, even if later he knew the name, etc., etc., but instinctively speaking, he had a great vibe about him. And even Richard, even if he doesn't want to admit this, he had a great vibe regarding Henry, and that was really awesome, because as a paradox, Henry was the first one hugging Richard. I mean, Richard was never hugged so far. He was the first one to hug him and to talk to him freely without any problem and whatsoever. So I really think that this meeting was really important. And even what Henry told him was a great thing. This run for the throne, the fact that there is always a power involved, the fact that everyone is always searching for a specific identity related to a specific power, in this case the crown, the throne, the fact that both York and Lancaster, they wanted to gain this throne to rule the others and to be superior than others and things like this. There is always in this episode, there is always this way of saying, look, let me become the king. That means not just the king of everyone, but to go on top of the other houses so they can become stronger than them. So there is this will of supremacy that is definitely highlighted here. That was what really happened at that time, many centuries ago. I think that this was well portrayed, even if of course one thing is to watch an anime, one thing it was a reality, but I like this kind of historical anime because they are showing by adding something supernatural, something fantasy speaking, but I like when they recreate this sort of anime in which you can definitely understand what happened, even if it's a little bit, but this is really nice. And then this Baraou no Souretsu, this Requiem of the Rose King, because this title reminds me on the opposite side, Versailles no Bara, because even over there was this concept of the rose. And in that case, that rose could refer to Oscar, but also at the same time Marie Antoinette. And here in this case, this Requiem of the Rose King, this rose that is referring to these two houses that are fighting for the throne. And yeah, I think these stories, they have many things in common, because do you remember even Oscar at that time? She was born a girl, but she was treated as if she was a boy. And here we have a Richard who we still have to understand his real identity. I mean, is he a boy? Is he a girl? Is something a hybrid? I mean, something we don't even understand. Is he related to demons for real, or is it just what people keep telling him? So remember this, the more people are telling you that you are one thing, the more you start believing it. This is how our mind works. So while these forest, these temptation things are telling him that he is Akuma no Ko, Akuma no Ko, Akuma no Ko, later he was going to believe this. And he was seeing this, even comparing to the other brothers' skills, what they could do. The fact that they could fight and he couldn't, the fact that they could go, for example, Edward could go and he had to stay over there. And the other brother of Richard, sorry, right now I don't remember his name, he was saying, oh, come on, Richard, it's because we are young. I think that it was just a sort of discrimination that his mother, I mean, Richard's mother was doing on him because he was different. At that time, when you were so different like this, you were pushed away from the family. You were not recognized even. You were not acknowledged to be part of the family. And in this case, the role of the mom, as in many other stories, is really essential, but in this case, in the worst way. I mean, she is really bad because she is forcing Richard to think so many bad things about himself. You see how she hates him. Is there a reason why his mother is like this? Did something happen? I mean, is Richard connected, in her opinion, to destiny? That means that he is like a sort of curse to the family. That means that every time they are losing, it's because of Richard, because he's bad, because he's a Akuma no Ko. This concept of destiny, or this concept of fortune connected to people, this was another thing that in literature was well known. It's not just in English literature, but even in Italian literature, my literature, for example, and so many others. Yeah, you have this fear that there is a person that can be a curse to an entire family and can create bad luck and all these things, as if he's an omen, okay? All these things are super amazing because when it's connected to literature, even in literature, you know that you have to analyze so many points, so many things, and this is why I like this story. I like it because you see how they recreate all these historical events with the symbolism, with the contrast of colors, with facial expressions. I definitely like it. But what about Jeanne d'Arc? I mean, she's like a sort of witch or something like that. She's trying to temptate Richard by saying all this bad stuff. We all know this great figure of Jeanne d'Arc that was quite popular. That became quite popular throughout the centuries, but I've never expected to see her connected with the forest. Every time she's appearing while Richard is in the forest, and she seems malicious, she seems like a sort of a witch that she's trying to trick Richard every time he's trying to immerse himself into nature. Yeah, another thing is these characters who are getting in touch with nature. This is another important subject in literature. We saw it so many times. And in fact, we saw it when Richard and Harry met. That was the first time in which you see nature in a different way. I mean, the perspective that the two characters have regarding the forest. Richard has such a bad impression about it, while Harry is surrounded by light and he feels so peaceful over there. So yeah, even if Harry is from the Lancaster and at that time he could have been wearing red stuff, no, he was wearing white clothes, also because of the light, okay, that was appearing, while Richard, who is coming from the York side, should have worn something white, but he is totally black. So as you can see, even these differences of colors, not just the contrast, but even this way to turn the colors upside down based on the mood of the characters, based on what the characters are going to tell you. Last but not least, the father of Richard. Look, at that time it was like this. I mean, when you were making promises to your kingdom, you couldn't give up, you couldn't withdraw, because if you did that, you were a coward, you were not followed anymore. You had to stand in front of your own kingdom, in front of your own soldiers, and go ahead. Go straight to the point and win the war no matter what. If you didn't, you were a loser, and of course, your subordinates were not trusting you anymore. But this is a fiction. I mean, this is a fantasy story, even if it's based on some historical events. And look at this father, come on, just because you promised the Richard that you would have not withdrawn, you keep staying over there and you affect lots of people's lives because of a promise. Once again, even in this story, the promise is one of the main concepts too, because Richard wanted him to promise him not to withdraw anymore, because the most important thing was to win, the most important thing was to conquer the throne, etc., etc. But at that time, when he was whispering something like this to his father, to go back to war, to win, not to withdraw, and things like this, his mother was seeing that Richard had such a demonic face, suggesting him to go to war, to lose many lives, no matter what, because the throne was more important than this. So, as you can see, even if Richard is the main protagonist of this story, we have so many different perspectives of how people are seeing Richard. And they are so different. So we needed to understand who's right, who's wrong, who is Richard, and what's behind him? What's the curse surrounding him? Who created this curse surrounding him? And was this just because of destiny that he was born like this? Or something happened that made him become like this? Is this just an hallucination that people are seeing him differently just because of his physical appearance? It could be. But we still have to understand so many things of this story, and I can't wait to go on watching this. Okay guys, I think for this video that is it. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned because next Monday I come back with episode 2 of Baraou no Souretsu or Requiem of the Rose King. In the meantime, feel free to subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell. Bye guys, see you in the next video.